Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today I'm answering a very special Dear Ruth Theresa question. That's right. Today I'm answering a question I have been asked so many times by so many different people. So hopefully I can break this down and hopefully get you a little bit deeper insight into how to find love. That's right. I have been asked this question so many times. It kind of becomes ridiculous, but I'm going to put all my ideas in this one video, and then I'm going to send this link to everybody who's ever asked me that. I think that's kind of a fun one. Let me see what tips that you really resonate with this. I think it's a really important one to kind of really think about, like, the tips that really have worked for you in the past. I think that's really important. And also keeping in mind, like, not everybody's going to find their mate in the same way. A lot of times people are going to find, at the grocery store, at the mall, at the museum, at the library, at the whatever. I found my husband at work, and I wasn't really looking for a husband at work. So it's kind of like, yeah, that's where I found him. But let's talk about some of these tips and kind of hopefully get you a deeper and better idea of, like, how to find love. So a lot of people are really obsessed with love, and I understand this to the umpteenth degree, because we are really sexual beings. We are, like, created to want to bond with somebody else. Who that is up to you. The bonding part is kind of what we can't do without. So it's really important to kind of really think about, like, finding the right person and the right energy for you. And so here are some of my top, I think, 10 or 11 tips of how to find love for you. So one of the things that really worked for me, and I've seen this work for a lot of other people, is, have you ever just noticed that, like, when you're not looking for something, you find it? Yeah. So when I found my husband, I had already kind of, like, sworn off of people. I'm like, I am just going to live my life, do my thing, that sort of thing. I wasn't looking for anybody. I wasn't even interested. I wasn't even kind of, like, looking in any direction or anything else. I literally had stopped looking. I'm like, this is just not what I need to do right now in my life. This is the time where I kind of put my nose to the grindstone and I just work. That's what I was thinking at the time. And so a lot of times when you aren't looking, you actually find what you're looking for. And so this is kind of a thing. A lot of times it's almost like people are like, I really want a mate that has all these characteristics and everything else, and they kind of, like, send that up to heaven. And it's one of those, when it doesn't happen, they're like, okay, well, let me grab that list again and let me add some more, let me add these things to it, and then let me send it up, and that sort of thing. And so a lot of times, like, you're getting really confusing bits and pieces of it because you're not giving it as, like, one whole, here, you deal with it from now on. So one of my best solution is write down the things that you're really looking for in a mate. Really looking for. And don't use words like handsome or cute or beautiful or whatever else, because your idea of handsome, cute, or beautiful may be completely different from mine. Most likely they are. What you think is beautiful, I may go, no. I have a friend of mine who is a total leg. She is into legs. She loves legs. Awesome. I also have another friend who is into butts. She loves cute little butts and everything else. I have another friend who just loves everything else. To me, I'm always drawn to how people, like, solve problems or issues. Probably because I always feel like there's so many answers to how to figure out how to do this. And my husband is one of those, like, boom, instant answer, like, ta-da, here's what we need to do. And so that's always like, how'd you figure that one out? Always amazed by that one. So when you kind of figure out what you're looking for, go through the whole video first. Like, when you're figuring it out, give that to your creator and let it be. Leave it alone. Don't think about it. Don't look at it or anything else, because if you get too obsessed with it, you're trying to shove every person you meet into that category. Well, he's kind of sort of what I want, or she's kind of sort of what I want, and, well, I could fix it. No, you have to let it be. and the right person will show up at the right time, and it'll be the perfect connection, not anything else. My number 2 one is go where people that doing things that you like. So if you are into karaoke, go to karaoke nights. If you are into jokes, then go to comedy shows. If you're into concerts, then go to concerts. Whatever you're into, most likely you're going to want a partner that's into the same things. They may like other things differently, but what are the 1 or 2 things that you're just like, oh my gosh, my partner has to be into whatever like me? Then go do those things. I have a client who is a female who is a professional, I don't know how to put it, it does competitions in gun shooting. So when she's at a gun shooting thing, she's like all business. And so I was like, go to the gun range when it's not all business. And she's like, interesting. Found her husband. So it's one of those, go do the things that you like to do. If it's bowling, if it's horseback riding, whatever that is, go and do that with different people. Because every time you're out and about doing something that you love, most likely that's how you're going to connect to that other person doing things that you love. So that's kind of one of those interesting kind of things. Sometimes it does happen, like my husband and I, where you meet at work. But I will tell you, more often than not, it doesn't really happen that way. If it does, it's usually y'all are in completely different departments, 2 different areas of the company, that sort of thing. So it's kind of like differences and similarities bring people together. But doing things that you love, it's one of those kind of like, I want a spouse that really is involved in politics. Then go to political stuff. I really love people that are into bowling. Then go to bowling events or whatever they do. So that sort of thing. So whatever it is that you really love, go do things in that area, because that's going to open you up in that area to find other people that like what you do. Number 3, get off your phone. Get off your freaking phone. I have been with people in public where all they are is on their phone or whatever else. And I'm sorry, if the person you wanted to be with was on your phone, great. Usually they're not. And so it's like you're passing by people and you're like on your phone, but you're not looking at anybody else. Put your phone away. It's not that important. You're not that important. Nobody's that important. And it's one of those, a lot of times, when you start looking up from your device and you start looking around the world, you will realize like, wow, I can just look for other people. And I always tell people, like, first look for like just people around you. Look at, I'm saying, different things. Interact with the people around you. Look for eye contact. Smile at people, that sort of thing. Kind of just interact with other people around you. Number 4 is don't really seek romance, seek partnerships. Try to find a friend. A partner. And that's kind of the way to do it, is if you're at a bowling tournament or whatever else and you meet someone else who's really interested in it, invite them to go to another bowling tournament or invite them to go bowling with you or whatever it is. And don't think of like, oh my gosh, this could be my potential person. Just think, I'm meeting someone who has similar interests to me. Don't think of it as like this romantic thing to begin with. Just think of it as I'm introducing myself and getting to know this other person who has similar things. Because a lot of times, like, people put them in that like their potential mate. And maybe they're not. Maybe they are. But it's one of those, a lot of times, like, you can freak someone out by putting them in that possibility way too early. So it's one of those, get to know them first, because no matter what, you want that person to be your friend. Even if they're your husband or your wife or your spouse or whatever else, like, they should be your friend first. And so that's where you need to start, is finding people that you're attracted to. Number 5 is really an important one. It's one of those, when you're talking to someone else, if you're complaining more than anything else, it's not good. It's one of those, I mean, I've been with other people out, and all they just sit there and do is complain and complain and complain and complain. Well, my brother did this, and my sister did this, and my brother did this, and my sister did this. And after a while, I'm just like, oh my gosh, enough. I can't handle it anymore. It's one of those, other people are the same way. So you have to kind of open up that energy of being positive, talking about their day, not just complaining about yours, but being positive and opening up. What was your day like? And what did you learn? And how did this happen? And all this kind of stuff. If you really need to talk to someone that desperately, I will say get a therapist. It's one of those, your friends and your relatives will like hopefully give me a pat on the back and say, go get a therapist. If you're that unhappy with what's going on in your life, make sure that you go get a therapist. Don't keep dumping on your friends and your family, because really happy people attract happy people. And if you're in a happy place in your life, it's one of those, you're going to attract other people. Maybe not 100% of the time people are happy, but you want people happy the majority of the time. It makes life much easier. My next one is number 6 is take time to be by yourself. I have so many friends that literally cannot be by themselves. They will go from a breakup to another relationship in no time flat. And a lot of times, like whatever relationship this was, this is even worse. And then they get out of this one and they go to the next one and it's even worse than this one was. And it just keeps going downhill because they're can't stand to be by themselves. For whatever reason, they cannot stand to be by themselves. That's not good. You should be able to be by yourself, be able to go have dinner by yourself, go to an event by yourself, whatever it is. It's okay to be by yourself. It's okay. It's one of those, and if you're not okay by yourself, usually you're the person that goes from one relationship to the next, or one divorce to the next divorce to the next divorce, to break up in relationship, and it never helps. So make sure that you take time to kind of be by yourself between relationships, kind of work on you in between, kind of what do I need to fix or repair with me, or what did this person bring in, something else. It's kind of like opening up. That sort of thing. So kind of that's one of those like allowing that to come in. The next one is understanding what are your own needs. What are your needs? What do you require in a relationship? What is it that you require in a relationship? What is it that you require? This is a big one. What do you require in a relationship? Because a lot of times people really don't understand what they require, and it's probably because they haven't been by themselves too much. And it's one of those, so get to know you, get to know what you like. It's one of those, what do you like to do? What do you not like to do? What do you like to eat? What do you not like to eat? Because a lot of times, if you're not, then you're always bendable to someone else's suggestion. So understand what your own needs are. Are you a person that needs a lot of space? I need a lot of space. A person that desires a lot of affection from time to time. Yeah. Kind of getting to know yourself. Are you a person that needs alone time? I kind of call it my cave time. I'm a person that requires cave time. So when my husband takes off into his cave, I'm not freaking out or like, I'm like, see ya, I'm okay. Getting to know that what you're going through or how you're working through things is the perfect time frame, and taking time to be with yourself and understanding your own needs is very, very important. Kind of the next one is number 8, and it's kind of get to know the differences between fooling around and kind of being a relationship. A person you're dating is usually on their best behavior at all times. But I guarantee you, once kind of like the familiarity, the kind of like gets in there, kind of like the beginning, the honeymoon phase, it's like, oh, everything is great and wonderful. But kind of once you're in that relationship, a few months down the way, or 6 months, 8 months, or whatever, all of a sudden things get a lot worse or weird or whatever else. And it's like, because they were kind of keeping who they really were, kind of like, let me show you that, the polished side of me out. But it's one of those, everybody has that weird side. So it doesn't always have to be weird, crazy weird, but it can be one of those, like, what are you enjoying? How are you enjoying this? And understanding, like, are you building a relationship, or are you kind of just fooling around? Because if you're just fooling around, you don't need to get to know that other person. But if you're really building a relationship, you need to take time to get in that relationship and understand who they are. It's one of those, and I often tell my people, like, it's not my job to tell you not to have sex or to have sex or whatever it is. That's up to you. But I will tell you, when you take time to get to know that person before everything else happens, it makes it a little bit easier and a little more kind of like I can get to know you in a different way and not pushing it too fast. I know a lot of people are like, let's straight in, nose dive in. Not always a good thing. One of the things that I think is really interesting is a lot of times, like, people will kind of wait for someone to be available. If you are always waiting for the other person to be available, it's not good. I've known women to wait years for the guy they think of their dreams to get out of a relationship, and it's one of those, it's not good. It's one of those, if they're in a relationship already, they're in that relationship. Don't mess it up. If it's falling apart, then it needs to fall apart, and then they need to join you in a new relationship. Because a lot of times, like I said, I've women that will like, we're having a relationship and he's still married. It's one of those, he has no desire to get out of that relationship because he's already kind of getting the best of both worlds. And it's one of those, he should end that relationship completely before he moves into a new relationship. Same thing for women. If you're in a relationship with a woman who's married, you should wait for that relationship to end and then move into a new relationship, a brand new one, and stop waiting for someone else to be available. Kind of stop waiting for someone to be there for you, or he'll stop being with his wife, or she'll stop being with her husband, or whatever else. It's not good, because anytime that you're kind of in that relationship, you're not really free to be in another relationship, because you're kind of, no matter what, you're in that relationship. You're kind of like that third wheel in that relationship. And that means you're really not open to starting a brand new relationship with anybody else. Well, I'm just doing this on the side because I will eventually get in a relationship. Most people won't enter that. They'll have an idea of like, oh, she's available. And then when they ask you, are you single or whatever else? Well, kind of. People don't want to start into that. So you need to be really honest and not wait for someone else to be available in a relationship with you. Either they are or they're not. But if they're in another relationship, you've got to wait for that one completely to finish before they're ready to move into a new one. Let's do a couple of angel cards and get us some deeper insights into how to find love. This one is popping out, so I'm going to jump this one in front. Ideas and inspirations. Hopefully I've given you a great deal of ideas and inspirations of what to do and how to do things, looking for love and where to find it. I think that's kind of where a lot of people are like, I don't know where to look. Find things that really interest you. That's one of my favorite ones. Is like, go do something you really love or really enjoy doing, and just enjoy being there and being open. Get out of your phone and be open to who's around you. Smiling, nodding, chatting, talking, or whatever else is always good things, and you never know where that's going to end up at some point. The next one, support. Your angels and guides want you to be. We were, like I said at the beginning, we were all made to be in relationships. We were meant to be with someone else. We're made that way. Genetically, we're built that way to want to be in relationships with other people. And a lot of times we kind of move around and we don't really open our eyes to all the possibilities. Or sometimes it's like we're dating the same person over and over and over again. It's not the way it's supposed to be. Date different people, date different personalities, that sort of thing. If you're dating the same person, or you're jumping from one relationship to the next, you're kind of dating the same person over and over again, because you got out of one bad relationship to move into another. So give yourself an opportunity to take a breather, take a break, and find that right person for you. Self-acceptance. Accept who you are. If you are not okay in being alone or taking time for yourself, it's one of those, it's not good. You gotta get to know you and kind of fall in love with you. If you want someone else to fall in love with you, you have to love you first. One of my favorite lines. When you want someone else to fall in love with you, you have to love you first and love all the quirky, weird, cool things about you, so that when you get in a relationship with someone else, or you start talking to them and they're like, well, what's so special about you? You'll be like, oh my gosh, let me tell you about me. I've gotten to know me, and I love this. I love pizza, and I love talking to people, and I love talking to ghosts, whatever it is, so that when you get the opportunity to tell them who you are, you know who you are. divine guidance. You were divinely guided to this video. You were divinely guided to kind of get these messages and these ideas out, not only for you, but for other people. This is a great time of year. Valentine's Day always kind of brings that up for people. Is like, I want to be in a relationship with someone else. Yes, everybody wants to be in a relationship, yet it should be a healthy relationship and one where you know you and you're not bringing baggage in from other old relationships. Manifesting. So many times people tell me, I've been trying to manifest a relationship for 5 years and it hasn't happened, because you're doing it the wrong way. These are some simple tips of how to get out of your own way and to find love and a great relationship just for you. New love. This is what most people are looking for, is a new love. Not the same old love, the same type of people all over the place. Make sure that you are finding someone that loves you for who you are and not anything else. I will tell you, one of the kind of deal breakers for me is if someone were trying to change me too much. A little bit of change is not too bad. But I will tell you that people will start relationships and they do it because they want to change the other person. If you're thinking that at the beginning, it's not going to work out. It is not going to work out. You have to take that person for who they are, and they have to take you for who you are. Our last one is freedom. Everybody has freedom to get in a relationship or out of a relationship. And like the last one I was telling you about, if someone is in a relationship, they need to stop that relationship if it's not working for them and get it out of it completely and bring that to an end before they're ready to start a new relationship. Never hold yourself on the sidelines or in the waiting list for someone else. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.